I'm going to show how to decide where I'm going to put all the switches for my door locks and auto up-down one-piece windows. A couple things. I personally do not like the big square factory switches. They're big, they're bulky, they don't really go with the whole look of the TMI stuff. So I did some searching, found some nice momentary switches, and seeing as how I'm running a auto up-down module, really all I need to do is have ground, and then I can configure up or down to the module, and I can get away with something like this. So if a guy was to try to copy factory positioning, it would be straight off of here and it would interrupt this space. So they would work not too bad right in here. There is some concerns just with the fabric, and with it's got such a small flange. You start here and then interrupt that stripe, do you interrupt the stitching, plus this panel here is that thick. There's another gap behind it to the fiberglass main structure of this door. So what I came up with is actually spotting them in here, 3 of them. Now the question is, I need roughly 1 inch of clearance. If I use flag style connectors or solder directly on, I can actually tweak these over just to gain a little more space. But for safety, a guy would want 1 1/4, 1.3 behind. Now a guy's got to determine whether or not he has that space. A couple different ways of doing that. A guy can do a whole bunch of measuring. Now I'd measure to take it on and off, do a little bit of math. There's this flange here. The felt from the one-piece window product kit. So I just basically put the backside up gently up against here, and we can check it. You would kind of just under 3.5, so 3 7/16. So write that down. I always do little drawings all over the place. So we got door panel from here to here, 3 7/16. Okay, will pop off. Gently set that down. Now we'll take this measurement again. He's in. There we go. So I'm measuring with my eyes, you know, just kind of, within tolerances. We're not building an engine and need that kind of by the thousands. But I'm sighting, there's like a flat ledge. I'm tilting my head over so I can get to the point where that flat ledge looks just like a line, not like, right? So if you're to hold on like this and you turn like that, I want to get it so that line just about disappears, and draw a straight line up to there. We're pretty darn close. That's 2 1/8. Basically, we would go from here, kind of draw this to there, 0.125 to there, and a little bit of math. We've got 1 inch, 1.25. Actually, this was 3/8 is what this was, so 1 7/16. So that gives us 1.25 of a gap here. So now, is that enough? Well, it gives us a 1/4 inch of gap there. The other way I could test is with our good friend Play-Doh, which is going to be right in around here. I'm going to ball this up, stick it on there. Let's get some more. Basically, it's the same trick that's used to make sure that your air cleaner is going to clear the hood. Just spray a little PV blaster and make a mess with my hand. There we go. Now, see what we got. And we can see there's a nice flat spot there. We can definitely see that we're going to have enough. So we'll take the calipers, hit the 0. That's not bad. I'll take that. 1.25. So definitely the space here to do what I want to do. I'm probably I'll pre-wire all those, and I'll bend them over a little bit, and I'll cover the whole end with shrink tube, and then those go to the trigger for the relays, and it should be all good. All I'll do is peel that off. Yeah, so we can see that's the shiny spot right there. And again, 1.29. So that's even better. That's off of the back, not including the fiberglass that we got to go through. It's going to be great. It's going to move that switch out better, or even further. I'm happy with that. Just wipe that oil off and throw it back in. Oh, and a trick to keeping your Play-Doh, this Play-Doh on the shelf for probably just over 2 years. Kind of the tape around the outside of it just helps the air stay out of it. I went through lines. These are 90, so half of that is 45. Went from the center line, measured up, put a 45 line in, and just kind of started playing. See, there's little dark spots here, going back and forth as to what good, nice spacing is. So corner lines up with that, and then that's pretty much centered between that. Gives us a smaller gap here, bigger gap here, kind of denotes the whole windows. Little trick, oh yeah, just to find between two items. You can go center to here is the same distance as from that edge to that edge. You can actually measure how far apart it is. Let's say on these two, find how far apart these are, right? What you could do is quite literally just go to that center or that edge to that edge. You're 3 1/16. So center of those would be 3 1/16. So if you had an inch hole, you wanted your gap to mimic that, you could use a hole saw, and as long as your center points were that far apart, you would line up perfectly. So there we go, bang, right there. My next point where I'm going to drill a hole, let's just take, and we can figure this one out on our own. Back to 46, off of there, 46.4. That told me a long time ago, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So I try to do the same thing every time. I use calipers and go to like 2 decimal places. Now is the time we get to punch some holes, which is more than a tad terrifying. It's funny how I've measured like 3, 4, 5, 6 times, know the depth, I know everything. But then now it comes time to actually cut holes in these brand new panels, and it's kind of like, So I just need to figure out what size hole we need to drill. Again, 0.76. So the step bit has a 7/8. So we're 1, 3 down from there. So I'm hopefully not going to rip and make a mess. I'm not going to do the whole distance from this side. That sharp sucker, it's actually cutting nicely. I'm just paranoid about going too far. Getting pretty close. There we are. One more step on that one. All right. Yay. 3 beautiful holes. Now, peel it all off. So before you look to see if it is off center, or, just peel it off. I don't want to know if it's off center. The nice thing about drilling from the backside is the leather is actually not that full distance, so that way, for some reason, because of such a small flange, if for some reason things aren't perfectly centered, I can go from the backside with a Dremel and a burr, and I can remove just that backside, make the best situation. So probably do one more step because of how tight that is. I want that excess to basically fold in. That's the nice thing about going from the backside like that. Now I just need to make sure I don't overdo it. Here we are. So I just took those out. It actually ended up being just 1 step under 7/8. Look at that. Let me smile. And now let's just hope they all go up and down nicely. A little bit more on that one. Nailed this one. I need a little bit more as I don't want to force it. We'll just have it so that it's just got a little bit of compression fit to it. And that's all. There we go. There we go. All right, anyways, I can sit there for an hour trying to make sure that they're absolutely perfect, but there we go. We've got locks, unlock, auto down, auto up. At the end of the day, when a guy presses it twice, it'll go a vent. Hit it again, it'll go down. Hit it again, it'll stop. Same with up, and same with the passenger side. So that is fitting switches, and now I got to do the other side.